So right away, I know what you guys are thinking. And yes, I'm a little shocked at this too. But I think that we need to start in a place of what do we know about Brad Holmes? And I think that the easiest answer is that he wants to win. But I think if you go just a little bit deeper into the layers of Brad Holmes, it's that this guy has guts and he's not afraid to pull off the big trade. He's not afraid to upgrade. And I came across this article that was put out, let's see here, 8 days ago. And I just happened to come across it today. And I found it very interesting, but it got me thinking. And I said this before, that Goff has done so well in Detroit that his trade value is skyrocketing. Would you be surprised that a team would pay 2 first-round picks for Jared Goff right now? I don't think that you would be. Or should you be? Because Jared Goff has played at an elite level for 2 seasons straight. He's broken all sorts of franchise records for the Detroit Lions, which are not easy records to break after what Matthew Stafford just did, in his decade or longer of service in Detroit. But that's the player that might hinge on Jared Goff's future, Matt Stafford. So where I'm going with this is this article kind of made it seem like Jared Goff's future depends on when Matt Stafford hangs up his cleats. And I guess what I took away from it is there a potential that Jared Goff gets traded this season instead of extended? Now, there's a good argument for this. Jared Goff is worth a lot. Could be 2 first-round picks. Brad Holmes knows how to select players in the draft. He knows how to build a team through the draft. Man, he could do a lot with 2 first-round picks right now. This is a quarterback-heavy team, meaning Hendon Hooker has that potential, but Jared Goff is the number 1 guy. Hendon Hooker could step up to be a number 1, but we haven't seen anything from him yet. That's what I mean from quarterback heavy, is that you really have 2 options right here. This is a team that could really, this is a quarterback heavy draft with good quality quarterback options early in the first round. It's not as deep as it was last season, but when you look at a few of these quarterbacks that are coming out this season, I like 3 or 4 of them, in the top 20 picks, as where last season, I only like 2. One of them was Hendon Hooker if he wasn't hurt. I had him as a top 5 pick in that draft. And then I had Stroud as my number 1 overall. I didn't like Bryce Young. And I didn't like any of the other ones in the top 5. But none of that really matters for this video. What matters is we're talking about Jared Goff and his future in Detroit and how this draft could impact that. Matt Stafford's future with the LA Rams could impact that. And the reason why is it's been speculated that Sean McVay would like to have Jared Goff back, that he would not want to restart that team with a young quarterback. He would rather have a proven veteran that is serviceable, that fits into his scheme. Who better than Jared Goff? He pretty much took the Rams scheme and brought it to Detroit and then made it better with Ben Johnson. And now you take all that and you send it back to LA. Perfect fit. So is there a potential that we see another swap where the Rams pay out the nose again? That they first paid for Matt Stafford with 2 first-round picks, and now they're going to pay for Jared Goff with 2 first-round picks? They won a Super Bowl with Matt Stafford. They could possibly win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. Man, those would be 2 of the most epic trades ever. I don't want it to happen. But at the same time, I would not be mad at Brad Holmes for bringing 2 more first-round picks to this team. But at the expense of Jared Goff, I don't think I'm willing to part with that. Dan Campbell said it. Brad Holmes have said it. You can easily get worse at quarterback than get better. It's harder to get better. And right now, the Lions have a very good thing with Jared Goff, the continuity, the connection. These guys are working well together. So no, I don't want to see Jared Goff traded. But I have to warn you, do not put anything past Brad Holmes. So let me bring in this article so that you guys don't think that I'm full of poo-poo here. But here you go, Rams Wire. through the USA Today says the Rams' future at quarterback could lay with Jared Goff once Matthew Stafford retires. Now, this was about 8 days ago that this came out. I just saw it for the first time today. And in here, I mean, they make some statements that are wrong. But right away, it says, as wild as this statement seems, the post-Matthew Stafford era could see the return of Jared Goff. After a 34-31 defeat to the San Francisco 49ers, Lions head coach Dan Campbell stated that this team's appearance in the NFC Championship game may have been the Lions' only shot. Now, he did say that, but that doesn't mean that we can't get back. It doesn't mean that we're not trying to get back. But maybe they're reading into this as if this was Jared Goff's last shot in Detroit because the Lions need to move off. But of course, it goes on to say that he's talking about their Super Bowl chances. And that Dan Campbell is absolutely right. Outside of the current NFC Championship champion San Francisco 49ers, the last team to win the NFC title game the year after losing it was the 2012 49ers. So it's an incredibly hard thing to do. And keep in mind that 2023 49ers suffered 2 straight conference championship losses before the last night's victory. So it can be done. But whenever the head coach starts talking like that, change always seems to follow. The Lions are expected to lose offensive coordinator Ben Johnson. Well, that didn't happen. To the Washington Commanders, obviously that didn't happen. Aaron Glenn has participated in multiple head coaching interviews. Obviously, he's staying. Frank Ragnow finished the year with virtually every body part causing him pain. Very true. I'm very worried about Frank Ragnow. And the reality is that many Lions, current Lions will not return in 2024. I mean, it's a true statement about any team. But then they go on to say this, that the Lions have already expressed an interest in replacing Goff at multiple points throughout Dan Campbell's tenure. There was the Malik Willis discussion several years ago in the drafting of Hendon Hooker last year, and multiple rumors swirling before this season. So let me just straighten out Rams Wire real quick. Nobody was talking about Malik Willis, and if they were, they don't know football. Malik was a terrible decision for whoever took him. I don't remember even where he landed, but he is not a very good quarterback. The Hendon Hooker rumors were clearly just by fans. Nothing concrete coming out of Allen Park. Not one person said that Hendon Hooker was replacing Jared Goff, other than some fans that, again, just don't know what they're talking about. But then it goes on to say that despite the success the Lions have had under Goff, the Lions front office has already made it known that they will upgrade a position at any time, even if there's a solid starter already in that position. Jared Goff or DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift was a solid starter. The guy barely played. Jack Campbell for Malcolm Rodriguez. I don't think Malcolm was ever the number one guy. I think that he was brought in. He got lucky to start. I think he's a solid backup. He's a hell of a teammate. I'm glad he's on this Lions team, but he was brought in for depth. He just got a chance to play a lot of snaps in his rookie season. And then Penei Sewell for Haludi or for Vaitai. 2 totally different positions, bud. So not even close there. And then the Lions are so confident in their ability to find talent that they traded their all-pro tight end, DJ Hawkinson, to a division rival to then drafted a potentially even better tight end. Well, look, I think that we could all agree on one thing here. TJ Hawkinson was a great player, is a solid player, but he's not somebody that the Lions were worried about going up against twice a year. And drafting Sam Laporta, yeah, it's a huge credit to Brad Holmes. And then it goes on to say, with all that being said, combined with Goff's history, there's a possibility that Goff's eventual departure from Detroit could coincide with the career expectancy of Matthew Stafford. We all understand that McVay doesn't want to groom another quarterback if he doesn't have to. And considering the performance from the Rams' recent runs of youthful quarterbacks, it's safe to assume that McVay wants a veteran gunslinger to take over for Stafford at some point. So that's it. Here's my thoughts. Don't put it past Brad Holmes. I think it's unlikely that he goes back to the Rams, only because I don't see the Rams coming off of 2 more first-round picks that they don't have to waste. It's possible. Look, McVay, I think, is about done. He wanted to hang it up, 2 seasons ago. He could be looking at a final push, and then he doesn't care what happens next, so he might be begging the GM to make a trade, make it happen, bring Goff back. But, man, wouldn't that be some crazy headlines that I don't know that McVay could ever walk back from? I really don't. I mean, after the things that McVay said about Goff, I don't see how he would bring Goff back, into SoFi. So for that reason, when you guys do come across articles like this, just like Brad Holmes said in the press conference today, don't read into it. There's a lot of entertainment garbage that's going to be spread over the next many months. And just don't read into it. Let the chips fall where they may. Trust in the process. Hey, whether we move on from Goff or not, it happens. You have to think about the betterment of the team, the future of the team, and what those picks could do for the team. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm not saying that I think it's a good idea, because I clearly am not in favor of moving on from Goff right now. I think that we have another opportunity to make a Super Bowl run in 2024, which is the year that I said that we would win it. So let's hope that that remains true. But I will say this. The day you are drafted is the first day that you're on your way out. The day that you sign your contract is the first day that you're on your way out. The NFL is a vicious business. So I will say this about the article, that, they are kind of right. Anything can happen. Brad Holmes is willing to upgrade any position at any time, but I don't think he's willing to sacrifice, culture for picks. I don't think he's willing to sacrifice leadership for picks. I think that he's willing to sacrifice moving up and down in the draft to make things happen. And I think that he's willing to go out and find the right people. And Jared Goff is the right people. So I think Goff's here to stay. I could be wrong. And we'll find out here over the next 2 to 3 months. So enjoy the ride. We'll see y'all later. Go in pride. Go Detroit Lions. Take care. Bye-bye.